Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to DiabloCast, your Diablo 3 podcast. I am, of course, your host, Force. Happy to be back here finally after a little bit of a hiatus. And, of course, with me, we've got Kevin Sixen Carlino laying low. How you doing, Kevin?
What's going on, guys?
Where you been?
Oh, Thanksgiving.
That's the question. That's the question on everyone's mind. Last week, guys, apologize for it. Holiday stuff got in the way. You know how it is, family and friends and all that garbage. So it's all right, though. We're back to talking about video games on a Friday night. Huzzah. So awesome. So some, fairly new things going on in the world of Diablo. I'll run down the list here quickly. We'll be discussing the up-and-coming VGA opening cinematic, Video Game Awards, if you don't know what VGA stands for. Release date being pushed back. What? Patch 7 discussion. Talking about the addition of the Real Money Auction House Jinx holiday gear if you're looking to buy some Diablo-related gear. The Book of Cain, which is coming to normal people soon, but already came to me. And Diablo 3 as an esport. All right, we're off to a bang here, I can tell already. So let's go ahead and jump into the first discussion, which is going to be the opening cinematic being revealed at this year's VGAs. Okay, so this coming up, December 10th is when the VGAs are taking place, and at that point, we're actually supposed to be getting a world first reveal. Although I suppose it's not really the world first because we kind of already saw a glimpse of it.
We saw bits and pieces.
Yeah, bits and pieces. So the opening cinematic for Diablo 3, literally what you will see when you first launch the game, is going to be revealed at the VGAs this year on December 10th. Now, we got a glimpse of it essentially this summer during the media press event, and with it, they just said, "Hey guys, here's kind of a bit apart." Basically, I think they just removed the spoilers. Isn't that what they said they did?
Yeah, I mean, we only saw a little clip. It was like pieced together. Was it like 30 seconds or so?
I think it's like 30 seconds to a minute. I'm assuming it's the full trailer probably won't be much more. Than 2 minutes,
they're showing us the full intro cinematic, is what they said.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, I know. I mean, from what I remember, man, the cinematic was amazing. Amazing.
Probably one of my favorites in all Blizzard titles that I've seen. I mean, there's some
Definitely.
Blizzard is pretty well known for doing some pretty awesome cinematic work, and that it's just really cool. Definitely got me pumped up about the game. So looking forward to actually seeing that in its full-fledged out version. And obviously, I'm sure that eventually, if you don't actually catch it at the VGAs, it'll be available for rewatch somewhere, guaranteed on YouTube somewhere. Someone will probably, just record the live stream and then post it up on their channel. I expect that to happen most likely. But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool to see that. There's really not a whole lot to say about it. Just an epic Diablo-related intro coming on December 10th at this year's VGAs. So if you want to see it first, watch the VGAs. If you'd rather avoid that, then just probably wait till like an hour later and you'll be able to catch it on the tube. All right, the tube. So next up, we've got the newly upgraded tube, by the way, which is giving me quite a headache.
Yeah.
But next up, we've got discussion of the release date being pushed back. Oh no, Amazon.de, the European version, or specifically German for Amazon, it actually had a little letter that went out discussing that the release date was pushed back. But how much stock are we to put into this, Kevin?
I don't know. I mean, well, should we just tell him what Bashiok said?
Yeah, of course.
Well, so Bashiok basically did one of these numbers, and he was like, well, why would we tell one retailer the release date? Why would we tell one specific branch of one retailer the release date? Why wouldn't we tell all the retailers the release date? Because I actually got an email from Amazon.com, because I pre-ordered from Amazon.com. And the email I got was just saying, well, we didn't ship on time. So I'm assuming that the original release date was 12/5 or 12/7 or something along those lines, which is what we all believed it to be. So I mean, I'm assuming that was why I even got an email at all, because it was really weird. It was kind of out of the blue, and the email was like, well, sorry we missed the release date, but we'll keep you informed if there's any changes. And I mean, that was about it. And I mean, I just like, oh yeah, Diablo 3, I know it's not coming. So I mean, it really wasn't a surprise or anything. Mm-hmm. But the Amazon.de had sent an email out saying that Blizzard wasn't going to be able to hit the first quarter release date, so it was pushed back to the second quarter, and the estimated release date was June 30th. Now, I'm not really sure what that's all about because Blizzard hasn't officially said that they weren't going to be able to hit the first quarter release date. As far as we know, that's what they're still shooting for. And again, this is kind of where Bashout comes in and says, why would we tell one branch of one retailer instead of telling everybody? Retailers know the release date. Retailers will find out the release date when you do all at the same time, and that's when we publicly release it. Mm-hmm. And they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So this kind of all harkens back to the discussion that Dennis and I have had in several different podcasts, and it's, don't trust what the retailers say. They're just making these things up. I mean, they might be, estimated, and they may even be correct. Who knows?
Right.
But it's just that it's not official, and it hasn't been confirmed by Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, it was at some point this summer, there were release dates at various retailers talking about like October and early November, and clearly that did not go through. So even if say they got from a friend who works in Blizzard who has the faintest idea about a release date, even if they might have told them, hey, it looks like this is supposed to be when it's coming out, internally it gets pushed back all the time. So even if this is true, there's really no way of knowing until we hear officially from Blizzard. It's all just speculation and really just a waste of time and energy to be too worried about it.
Yes,
I'm as excited as anyone else for the game, but there's really no point in freaking out over when we think the release date is.
There's this huge lots of discussion about how people think it's going to be in January, and then I just pulled up a thread that said that they have some support showing that it'll be in February, and now I'm looking at a thread that says release date March 2012. So, obviously nobody knows, and people are just kind of throwing this out there. Oh, look, hey, it's the Amazon.de little thing that we're talking about right now. That's interesting. Anyway, so as you can see, nobody knows, and people are just kind of throwing things out there. So just wait until Blizzard tells us. There's really no reason to get all riled up.
Yep, just more retailer garbage. Nothing to really be too worried about. All right, so next up, patch 7 just went through, and with it, oh boy, we got the Real Money Auction House. Now, firstly, we'll take a quick look at the patch notes. Very brief indeed. Just discussion of the fact that the trial for the currency-based auction house is now available for testing, and I'll be talking about that in a little more in depth in just a moment. Also, in order to fully test the currency-based auction house and its features, all characters have been wiped. Please note that this wipe will affect gold achievements followers. Kevin, what happened? You maxed out?
Yeah, seriously, because I figured, hey, they added achievements. There's no way that they're going to be wiping characters again, right? So I went and I spent like a solid 20 hours. I maxed out all 5 classes. I had a couple hours extra played on my wizard just because I was farming for great items. I wanted to be ready to be able to test builds and stuff. Oh man, it's so disheartening. Like, well, I understand
you're in a beta. That's
yeah. I definitely understand that, but
it almost gets you to be like, I don't feel like leveling again because this is like my 40th level. This is my 40th level 13.
Third or fourth time that I'm going to be doing all 5 classes again, and they're just going to get wiped again. So I don't know. I just feel like if I don't max out my all the characters again, then there's not going to be a wipe. In which case, I'm going to be kicking myself for not doing it.
It's funny. Also, some bug fixes came with this. Some issues with the blacksmith, as well as the viewing the achievement system while in public games, and issues with solo games. Actually, people being kicked by the party leader. Hilariously enough.
Yeah, there was some like. It was a funny error message. It's like, I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember. I just remember laughing the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
It was something like, you're being mean or something like that. Quit being mean or something like that. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up.
And yeah, that's really nothing. Well, with the exception of the addition of the Real Money Auction House, really nothing big. Now, the Real Money Auction House brings about not a whole lot. Basically, what you find?
It says play nicer next time and a smiley face. Kicked from game by party leader. Play really nicer next time.
But the problem was people weren't actually trying to kick anybody. They were just getting booted with doing nothing whatsoever. So yes, we have the Real Money Auction House now in the game. And what happens is they actually started us out with a 50 credit, basically, for Blizzard currency, as it were. And
beta bucks.
Yeah, beta bucks is what we'll call them. That's a good word for that. Thank you. So you start off with 50 beta bucks, and with that you can do whatever you want. You can buy, sell, and it's essentially more or less it's supposed to be like the fully implemented system. There's a few key things that are out. For example, you don't even have access to switch to the gold auction house now, but once it's live, you'll have that option. You clearly can't withdraw this money into your PayPal account right now, so that's another thing that's missing. But
yeah, but I mean, we can't use the gold auction house for now, and that's just so they get us to test, this system because obviously they want us testing this. They also have the listing and selling fees or whatever.
Right.
As of right now, the selling fee is 15 cents, I guess we can call them. Mm-hmm. So just 15 cents of a beta buck, and then the listing fee is 65 cents.
Right.
So these are flat numbers. They're not percentages. It's just that's what it is, no matter what you sell or what you buy.
So I mean that's a very interesting point. And actually, I wasn't even thinking about bringing this up, but maybe we should discuss it. That's almost a full $1 for every transaction. And this is actually what they talked about. The purpose behind these flat fees is to prevent a lot of low-level junk from being posted. And this is like, no one's going to post anything for $1. If you're paying, 80 cents. If you're paying 80 cents in flat fees, you're not going to post something for $1 like a common scrap. That's an example. You know what I mean?
Right.
In fact, if I would say that most items that get posted are going to want to be at least $5 or above. Otherwise, people won't bother. So what this is going to do then is any of these more basic items, people are either just going to vendor or they're going to try to sell in the gold auction house. But nobody wants to lose $1 in what is technically real money, so they're not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, we also have to keep in mind that they're going to have free listings, and apparently we're going to have them in the beta, I believe. It says though they didn't tell us the exact number, just that we're going to have a set number. They didn't tell us what that number was, but I'm assuming that that's going to be in the beta. I mean, I haven't really looked.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. My assumption is that it's going to be like 2 to 3 or something like that.
Yeah,
we'll have like 2 to 3 free auctions. That is a shot in the dark, though. I'm not confirming that at all. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want it to be too high because they don't want us to just be racking up. I mean, the point of the free listings is that so we can kind of get into it without having to put money onto our account, which is good. I like that. But at the same time, they don't want us just racking up the money without having to do anything. I mean, what's stopping me from putting some potions on there and having somebody buy it because they don't know any better?
Right.
And that's another reason why they have the fees. Like Dennis was saying a couple minutes ago, it stops people from putting crap up on the auction house.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, I don't want the auction house flooded. There's a filter system, but still, I don't want the auction house flooded with common one-handed axes when I'm trying to search for something awesome. And
right.
I am going to pull this up really quickly because I made a video about this too. So if you guys want a little in depth about the auction house, just check out my channel. Go to the Diablo playlist, and there's a video. But so a majority of it is the same. We're going to have the equipment section, which you can search per your character, and then filter it between one-handed, two-hand, off-hand, and armor. And then from there, you go more specific into what type of weapon or what type of armor, everything like that. So that's the same. We now have the ability to go through gems from the most basic level, which is chipped, all the way up to the highest level of gems, which is going to be the Radiant Star. And 4 gem types with the Amethyst, Emerald, Ruby, and Topaz. And then crafting and dye stuff's now available. However, the dyes aren't even in the game, so there's
neither are gems.
Yeah.
And then I did see some items that had sockets, like open sockets, but again, there are no gems. I was a little bit confused about why they allowed us. Well, they didn't really allow us, but why they enabled that part of the auction house.
Yeah, I mean, I think they want as much of the auction house that's going to be there live here now, just because because they're trying to test this auction house system. So they're going to put like almost all of it in, even if we can't use it. You know what I mean?
I guess that's true.
And pretty interesting as well is that with that now the option to buy gold. So on the bottom here, what you'll notice is the beta buck, as we'll call them. But what this will be, to translate this into when the game is live, this is going to be your actual real world money inside of your Battle.net account. And while you can't physically withdraw this money, you can use this money to buy items. And then if you sell one of those items that you buy, you can then withdraw. So I'll just say this one more time. Most people probably know this by now, but if you don't, the only chance to actually ever physically withdraw money from the auction house is at the end of a sale. Once a sale transaction is complete, you'll have the decision, you'll have the choice of either putting that into your Battle.net account or putting it into your PayPal account. Once you put it into your Battle.net account, you can't take it out, but there's the method, like I mentioned, of, okay, say you have a huge Battle.net account and you want to quit the game. You could just like buy a bunch of gold and sell it, and then at the end of all those sales, withdraw. The problem with that, though, is when you do that, you end up paying fees at least twice, because in order for
but
you know what I mean?
It's money that you wouldn't have.
Exactly. No, exactly. And that's good, like kind of like a long-term solution to having an accumulated Battle.net account if you do leave the game, you know. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I do actually really like that system because, I mean, let's say I get, certain, maybe I make $15 off of one item, and I decide, you know what, I want to buy myself a coffee today, so I'm going to empty that and put it into my PayPal, and then I'm going to ship it over to my bank. Whereas, the rest of them, I'll just stick it to my Battle.net account so I can pay for WoW or something like that,
Kevin, if you're going to have to do that if you want a coffee in 3 days, because that's how long it takes. Yeah, no, and maybe people don't know. I mean, like, the whole PayPal process, it actually takes a few days to get to your bank account.
You're right.
But
it's something like 5 to 7 business days or something like that.
Yeah, I think it also alters depending on how often you use it. It used to take almost a week for me to move money from PayPal to my bank account, but since I over time did so many transactions because I get paid monthly through PayPal, now it only takes like a day or two. But anyways, the point is that to withdraw money, you only ever have the option at the end of a sale. So if you put money into your Battle.net account and say you want to use it to use the auction house, or you want to use it to buy Blizzard stuff in the Blizzard store or whatever, that's fine. If you eventually decide you want to withdraw the money, it's as simple as buying a bunch of stuff and selling it. Buy a bunch of stuff with what you've accumulated, sell it all, and then once those sell, withdraw that money. So that's how it'll do. That's how things will work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's really not too much to say about it. Overall, the auction house is more or less the same. We've got the addition of the gems. We're close to the full working version, even though most of the stuff isn't in the beta. Dyes aren't in the beta. Gems aren't in the beta. I guess
that's because they're testing it internally also.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have access to the full game, so they have access to gems and dyes and whatever else. Internally, of course. So, I mean, I guess it's probably just why they went ahead and implemented it.
Yeah. And actually, there's a little Q&A here, and under question, the very first question, what are we testing here for the Real Money Auction House? And the answer is, in order to make sure that the currency-based auction house is ready for the release of Diablo 3, we will be providing each beta participant with virtual currency to test and buying and selling of in-game items. This will allow us to assess the way the auction house is used, identify bugs, and test the transaction fees. And you have to imagine that this is a huge focus of theirs, because the last thing that they want is a buggy auction house involving real money at launch. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I think this is going to go back to why there is, even though gems and dyes aren't in the game, why that functionality is still there, because they want to make sure that you don't click on gems and all of a sudden it depletes someone's online balance, like some crazy bug or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, especially when we're dealing with real money.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is a big time. The Real Money Auction House has been a matter of heated debate for a while. I think it's kind of died down. People have come to terms with, hey, you know what, it's happening. Yeah. So, people will only cry and moan so much until they get kind of tired of it. The Real Money Auction House is coming. You don't have to use it if you don't want. The Gold Auction House is there. But back to my point, this is going to be a really, really big time, because if this launches and is successful, and if it works out, to the player's benefit, like overall the player base is happy, this is going to be a huge step in this direction. And it's been said before, but it is quite liable that if this is pulled off and it works, that we're going to be seeing this in a lot more games.
Yeah, not even just Blizzard games, but all kinds of games.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw it in Titan.
Definitely.
I don't think that's too outlandish. And, I've been doing, if anyone follows my channel besides Diablo 3, I'm sure you'll recognize the addition of a new daily show, the Force Feed, and with it.
I love it.
With it.
I love it.
I appreciate that. but with it, I'm just trying to follow the industry a bit more. And just try to figure out what's going on in general. And a big thing that I've really come to realize, $60 is $60 is a lot for a game for an average person. But with that said, developer side, as time goes on, it's becoming the case that more and more money and time are being dumped into all these titles, all these projects. So even though $60 is a lot to us as a consumer, to these developers, they're not getting. It's not right. As much as they need, and there's.
So for them, it's consistent pay over time.
Yeah. And that, I think that's something that it's been pretty obvious. You just look around. Let's just forget. I know how much we love Blizzard, but let's just forget about Blizzard for a moment and just take a look around the landscape at these other companies. It's happening everywhere with the microtransaction, with subscription fees, with DLC that cost money. Almost everything. Every genre at the very least now has some sort of way of pulling in extra money. First-person shooters have DLCs and map packs. I guess maybe RTS there really isn't a lot, but there is going to be an RTS store eventually. StarCraft 2 is going to have its own online store at some point.
Custom maps and content.
Yeah, they're working on that as we speak. So, and then obviously MMOs have their subscription fees. All these major genres are looking for ways to pull in additional income because it just costs so much to make games now. And we're still complaining about $60 box titles, but the truth is developers aren't getting as much money as they'd like to be. So that's why this is happening. And you can call it greed, and I'm sure that plays a role into it. Like, I'm sure that's part of it, wanting more money. That's a pretty natural thing. But that still doesn't mean that they aren't paying more to make these titles, And
it's not even like we're getting ripped off. In the end, we make money off of it. So essentially, if I work, because I'm getting the collector's edition, obviously. So let's say I get $100 over 2-3 years of playing Diablo 3. Well, I just paid for my game, so I just got a free Diablo 3 collector's edition. So there's no I can't complain about that. If they're and at the same time, if they're getting money off of that, so I'm getting my game for free, and the developers are getting paid back, so they want to keep releasing new content, fixing bugs, making more patches. Like, that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And that could, hopefully, that's the way it works out, and everyone's happy, and things are grand. That's the hope, anyways. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that once this is implemented, that it all runs smooth. I'm sure there'll be bumps in the road. I'm not looking forward to how those bumps are going to be when real money is involved, because that could be a huge headache. But hopefully it goes smooth and everything works out fine, and we usher in a new era of video gameage. That'd be cool. We'll have to see, though. All right, so there you go. That's it. You can take a look again if you go ahead and take a look at the video on my channel. That'll give you kind of a good walkthrough of the real money auction house. Give you a better idea as to what to expect. Now, next up, Jinx holiday gear. Sweet. Kevin, you getting anything here? We got some sweet Diablo t-shirts on Jinx, and got a Tyrael hoodie. I'm waiting for the Demon Hunter coat. Where is that bad boy?
I don't know. The Demon Hunter one looks pretty sweet. The Tyrael hoodie looks pretty awesome. Although I don't remember which shirt it was, but it's like a button-down, kind of nice-looking Diablo 3 shirt. I was considering getting one of those. It's kind of like gray, and I don't remember what it was called or anything, but I just happened to see it up on BlizzPlanet, because I know Medieval Dragon does a lot of this stuff with I don't even know what to call them. They're not sponsors, but partners, whatever you want. So Jinx, for example, I really like that. I think it's pretty sweet. It's kind of expensive. It's like $50 or whatever, but it's a nice, like, I could actually wear it to like a party or something, Like, it's a nice looking Diablo 3 shirt. It's not too like nerdy geeky, but at the same time it's like a button down Diablo 3 shirt. Like, I can wear it to a Christmas party. Like, it's nice. Stylish.
It looks like they do have the Demon Hunter coat. I don't know why I thought it wasn't there, but it is. Kind of creepy pictures, but that's all right. So yes, Demon Hunter coat is also available. I think that I kind of think that looks a little cool.
It does, actually. I like I said, I really like the Tyrael one. That looks pretty sweet. But the one I was talking about was the Diablo 3 woven shirt. Yeah. Nice little button down kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's got the 3 on the back. I think it's sick.
Yeah. So
although $50 is a little bit.
Well, people you can ask for a Christmas present. That's what people can do. Get some Diablo gear for Christmas. Put it on your wish list. Send it away to Santa. I'm sure he'll oblige. Sure, that's how it works, right? You just send it to Santa.
Yeah, I got that guy on my style.
All right, so there you go. Some sweet Jinx holiday gear. We've known about it for a while. I just wanted to run it by you guys again. It's something to talk about, you know. All right, now, Book of Cain. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Book of Cain has gone out to a decent amount of people, some of the fan sites and stuff like that. I got my early copy and made a sweet RP video about it. I'm sure you guys loved it.
That was pretty clever. I kind of watched. I had to watch it twice. The first time I was kind of half listening.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hey, it's cool. He's reading some of it. And then it hit me when I started watching it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty clever. So I had to rewatch it. I'm proud of you, Dennis.
Nice.
I'm proud.
Yeah. No, it's cool. The Book of Cain is pretty awesome. Now it's going to be available. I believe it comes out
the 13th, I think.
13th. I thought it was like the 15th. It may be the 13th though. You could be right.
90% sure it's the 13th.
Yeah. So, Book of Cain, you can head on over to Amazon.com, and I did a little kind of skit about it. I'll pop up the Amazon page here for you guys to see. But yeah, if you want to pre-order it now, you can certainly do that. It's pretty cool. People are asking about the size. 175 pages. It's a novel's worth of lore. It's pretty awesome.
That's 175 pages of greatness.
Or I could be wrong. Maybe it's 145. Whatever. It's close.
It's
enough.
145 pages of greatness.
That's right, 145 pages of greatness. It kind of catalogs. It almost feels like an encyclopedia of like the lore of Diablo, but it's written in a form. It's supposed to be Cain writing to Leah and trying to basically catch her up to speed. So they go through and he talks about the three prime evils and then the lesser evils, and he actually makes a fair mention as well about the high heavens, talking of who's it, Imperius and Tyrael, and a few of the other archangels. I don't want to give away too much, but there's also a lot of talk of of heaven and hell, and I think something that's really important to know if people aren't necessarily a big lore buff or anything. In the Diablo world, it's not necessarily you in heaven versus hell. In fact, it's very much so not that. It's more like our characters or humans in general
stuck in the middle.
Yeah,
right?
We're in between this battle between heaven and hell, the eternal conflict, as it's called. Heaven and hell constantly battling it out, and humans essentially were brought about by the binding of angels and demons, and the battle's still going on between heaven and hell, and we're kind of trying to figure out our place in between. But it doesn't, like Diablo and while they're bad and all that, Diablo and the other prime evils and lesser evils, certainly they're bad, but they're not necessarily just the enemy. And there's a lot of hints that go towards the fact, and I'm not even talking specifically about the book, just like the lore and everything prior to the Book of Cain. A lot of hints towards it being a strong possibility of us actually eventually fighting against angels and possibly even having a setting there. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. It's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. I mean, so far in any of the Diablo games, we haven't really seen heaven. We've only gone to hell.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. But the book itself, I think, is really cool. It was a good read. I like it. You're only going to want to get something like this, obviously, if you're interested in lore. If you don't care about lore or you don't like any of that stuff, then don't get the book. It won't do much for you. It's not like you're going to get a free beta key with this thing. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
But if you're just waiting for gameplay, wait for the game. But if you are a fan of lore, check out the Book of Cain. I think it's worth it. It's a good read. It was fun.
I mean, I would say even if you're just a Diablo fan in general, because I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
If you can tolerate reading, then
if you can read, get this book.
yeah, basically. I mean, it's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of fun to just read the backstory. I mean, especially for those that haven't even played Diablo before, I feel like they'd be able to get completely immersed just by reading the book.
Oh yeah,
and then they'd be like, well, hey, I know exactly what happened in Diablo 1 and 2. Obviously, I'm going to tell them, yeah, you should still go play it.
Right.
But I mean, it'll catch you up, and now you'll understand, like, hey, why am I in this town called Tristram? Hey, why is there two Tristrams,
Yeah. And
I don't know. It's a great way to catch up.
Sure, definitely. I think that's also going to come back to play style as well. Why people play games. What do you do for a game? Because there are a lot of people who don't care about lore, and for the longest time, for many games, I was that person. I could care less about lore. I played Warcraft for 4.5 years. I raided heavily. I PvP'd heavily. I don't know jack about Warcraft lore. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I just don't. It's nothing. When I played the game, it's nothing that I ever took the time to look into. Diablo lore, I think, is awesome, and I don't know what came about, but I eventually ended up, reading a couple of pages of one of the books, and I said, "This is cool." So I kept reading, and then all of a sudden, I'm involved in Diablo lore. The lore behind Diablo is awesome, and I think it's something that's worth looking into. But if it's something you care less about, just whatever.
Actually, while we're on this topic, I think the Sin War trilogy. I don't even know what it. I think it's actually just the Sin War trilogy. Oh, the archive. That's what it is. It's the Sin War archive by Richard Mack. I think that just came out recently, or should be coming out in the very near future. I believe it'll be out in time for Christmas. But I mean, yeah. On that same note, if you guys enjoy reading or you like learning about the game, I mean, these books are awesome. Like, especially the Sin War trilogy. That's official canon, from what I understand. There's five more other books actually. 4 of them are novels, and one of them is an ebook. I mean, those aren't particularly canon. They're kind of just stories about people that have been in Sanctuary, not necessarily history about the game. Whereas the Sin War is actually, what is it? It's before the Eternal Conflict or something like that, if you remember.
Yeah.
I remember Frozen Dragon went over this with us, and it's been a while since I've read it. But the books are awesome. If you guys, I mean, even if you don't enjoy reading, like, I was never ever a heavy reader. Like, I mean, yeah, I read Harry Potter, I read Lord of the Rings, but that was just about it. Like, I never really enjoyed reading. But other than that, like, I started reading the Blizzard books, and I'm like, wow, I just can't put them down. It's awesome to see, like, hey, like, this is Trag'Oul. Oh, I've got that set in Diablo 2. Like, what is this guy doing? And it's just, it's a dragon that it's up to him to keep the balance of the entire world. It's craziness. I mean, it's awesome reading about the things that you love playing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't spit it out. It's exciting. It's great to learn about what you love.
Yeah. You're just too excited. It's all right.
I'm excited. Yeah, nerd chills, as what Artosis likes to say.
Right. All right, pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Now, next up on the list, I don't know what's going wrong. What is going on here with my live stream? There we go. Got to fix that. Next up on the list, we're actually going to talk about something that I really enjoy.
Definitely.
And that's PvP. Now, it's been a while since we've mentioned esports. I can't even recall the last time that's something that's come up in our discussion. But it's something that I certainly enjoy. It's something that I wish was more of a focus in the game, even though it's pretty evident that it's not, at least at this point in time. But it's got the possibility. And the reason we're mentioning it is because there was actually, Kevin, you linked me to a video recently over at MLG, and they talked about the possibility of Diablo 3 becoming an esport, and how a lot of it's going to hinge on the player base, the fans, and if it's something that we are actually interested in, then it needs to be pushed. And I think that there's almost an inherent issue with this idea, because in general, most Diablo players aren't focused on PvP, and I can say that because Diablo has never been a PvP focused game.
I mean, Diablo as a whole hasn't been PvP focused, but there have been communities that have focused on PvP.
Right. But it's a fair statement that you would say a bulk of the community isn't. And again, the reason I can say that is because if they're playing Diablo games, and it's because they like that experience. That's like saying, oh, most people who play Counter-Strike love RPGs. Do you know what I mean, though? I mean, it's kind of there's an inherent struggle as an individual, someone who loves PvP, but someone who loves Diablo, but also loves PvP. I struggle against a majority, bringing up this discussion and this topic in the Diablo community gets backlash a lot of the time, because most people who play Diablo could care less, because they're playing Diablo, so obviously they care less about PvP because it's not, you know what I mean? So kind of inherently based in the fan base, there's going to be a struggle for people who like PvP and would like to see it have more of a focus eventually. But I think that's okay. Another thing to keep in mind, though, is that there's also clearly going to be a lot of newcomers to the Diablo franchise with Diablo 3.
Especially now that it's free to World of Warcraft subscribers.
Yeah, exactly.
The annual pass thing. Blizzard's done a lot with StarCraft 2. I know a lot of people in the StarCraft 2 community are going to say, well, hey, I love RPGs, but at the same time, I kind of just want to kick back and relax every once in a while, so maybe I'll pick up Diablo 3.
Yeah.
All these World of Warcraft and StarCraft 2 people are getting it. Why not me?
Right. And that's true. I mean, just that mindset about the game in general, kick back and relax, that's what most single player style games. Okay, there's co-op, but most PvE or PvM focused games, people have the mindset, I can relax, because PvP situations are very intense, and you have to be on your toes because you're playing against someone who has a brain. You're not playing against a scripted AI, which never changes. And again, these are discussions that we are rehashing that comes up over and over again. But that's the way it is inherently. And yes, PvE or PvM can get hard. It can be difficult, but it's more like, oh no, I'm getting one shot. You know what I mean? It's never really strategically difficult. And someone may bring up, okay, well, what about like boss encounters or raid type things, which don't exist in Diablo? But that stuff's only difficult until you figure it out, and then it's easy. And and if it's a group dynamic, you just have to rely on the rest of your group not being idiotic and not messing up. But there is an inherent ease in a kind of a non-PvP type of game, and that's good for what it is. But still, competition is awesome, and we want PvP to grow. So what do we think? We've had so many discussions on this, Kevin. Let's just come back and say it outright. What do you think the possibility is, realistically, of us seeing competitive PvP in Diablo? I want your opinion on this.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's going to happen right away.
That's a fair statement, to say the least. Cause
yeah, I mean, I do think that it'll happen eventually. At the very least, I think that it will be supported at BlizzCon. Even I would like to think that MLG wants to at least pick it up and give it a shot, maybe do some tournaments. I feel like once it gets out there, once something has been done towards it, I mean, even if it isn't that popular, I feel like it will start to pick up. I mean, World of Warcraft PvP, again, wasn't meant to be competitive, if I remember correctly. There wasn't any PvP gear to begin with, and I mean, you know more about this than I do, but I mean, WoW PvP just wasn't really there until all of a sudden it was.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like it'll happen eventually. Eventually, I don't know how long, but I can almost guarantee that enough people want to have a competitive feeling when they're playing Diablo. I mean, Blizzard. Almost all of Blizzard games have been an esport. WoW, War 3, StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. I mean, the Diablo series hasn't really been an esport, but at the same time, people did a lot of PvPing in Diablo 1. They did a lot of PvPing in Diablo 2. That's why they had a rudimentary, little PvP system that was implemented from Diablo 1 to Diablo 2. I mean, there was supposed to be a PvP arena in Diablo 2 that just never made the cut into the final release. So, I mean, the thought has always been there. It's just never made it. And now that they've had enough time to work on it, I feel like with an actual PvP arena system, the opportunity is there.
Right.
Now the opportunity is there. We just need to get the community behind it. And once the community is behind it, I mean, I feel like the possibilities are endless.
I think there's also two really big things to keep in mind when it comes to, if we're considering, can a game become an esport? There's two major factors. The first factor is going to be balance. Balance is crucial. If you can't be competitive if there's blatant imbalances, because that's just too much of an issue, and it just needs to be there. There's really no question about that. If there's some overpowered character, race, class build, that's something that needs to get fixed, because we can't have money-based tournaments where one character type is winning every single thing. Like we'll have whatever Whirlwind Barbarians just cleaning house. So you'll have teams of 2 Whirlwind Barbarians in a support class, and they're winning every single tournament. Like, you can't have something like that take place. It's obvious that balance is necessary. The second thing that's crucial to any game becoming an esport isn't how enjoyable is it to watch. Esports only exist because there are people to watch them. People watch these games, then advertisers can make money off of the eyeballs that they attract, and then that money is used to help fund the tournaments. That's how the whole system works. You're only going to have tournaments to make money if someone's willing to sponsor them, and you're only going to get sponsors if people like watching them. And we can talk about WoW briefly, because the truth is, WoW was on the esports scene for a while, but it feels like it's falling off because it can be really boring to watch. A lot of WoW arena matches, can last up to 30 minutes to an hour, and bear in mind, I've been out of the scene for about a year now, so I don't know how things are currently, if the WoW or PvP arena has changed much, if it's more fast-paced.
I remember watching something from this last BlizzCon, or maybe I was talking to one of the Blizzard employees when we were doing the fan site stuff. I don't really remember, but for some reason this just sticks out to me. They have some like some blocks in place or whatever from keeping it going that long. Like once the match hits like 10 minutes or so, then they have like some global buff that makes you do like an extra 50% damage or something like that to keep the match from going that long. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yes, that is a problem. I do agree with you, but there can be things done to keep that from happening.
Yeah,
although
like checks and balances.
Right. Although I guess in order for it to, I don't know, because Blizzard said that they don't want to do things like that. But then once the community says, "Hey, we want this," then maybe they will. But the problem is the community won't say, "Hey, we want this," because of these problems. So it's kind of like a circle that's, I don't know. That's kind of hard. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's. Enjoyability to watch is pretty vital. It's pretty important. So I mean, hopefully that's something that we'll be able to eventually get. I really do. I really hope that you know it'll be people will like watching it because that's the only way money is going to come in, and that they're going to be able to balance it. That's again, those two things are pretty crucial. So we'll have to.
I agree with having it be a spectator sport. Obviously, I mean, people are going to have to want to enjoy watching it in order for it to anything to come of it. But I almost disagree with the whole balance thing. I mean, and that kind of makes me sound like an idiot. But obviously, there needs to be some kind of balance. Yes, I mean, you can't just have a barbarian doing 400% damage to everything and everybody else just dying immediately, like, you know, getting one-shotted, like you said before, obviously. But, I mean, from what I understand, they want to have that kind of balance anyway. Now, they don't want to, like, completely fine-tune everything, but at the same time, they do want, like, they're gonna make it fair. I guess I shouldn't say that either. It's, man, I'm almost out of words here. I mean, they're not going to fine-tune things, so we're not going to see them just PvP patch, or, you know, balancing PvP in every single patch. That's a given, at least for now. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't think that they want one class to be the class to play in PvP, otherwise you don't PvP, because at the same time, they do want PvP to be fun, they just don't want it to be competitive.
Yeah.
So, but how would it be fun if only one class can potentially be PvP? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem. That's why balance is so important, and balance becomes even more important when there's money on the line. And I think that's why that's one of the biggest things. Like, if there are stark imbalances in the play, people are not going to play enough to get skilled enough for these tournaments because it doesn't make sense to them. You know, if let me put it this way, you're only going to spend time doing something that you have a fair chance of coming out on top on. You know what I mean? And if you're playing a game that constantly has major balance issues, and this is how you make a living, because this is where esports is going. People are making a living off of it. If there are constant balance issues that are making it so that you can't win a tournament and you end up losing and missing out on like $50,000, that's only going to go on for so long before people say, "Screw it, I'm going to do something else."
Yeah, I guess that's true. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there's 97 billion plus potential builds plus all the itemization that's completely random. I mean, although I guess you can buy stuff off the auction house, but you know, so what? Then we just play, you know, hardcore tournaments, and since hardcore characters don't die right now, that rules out the whole auction house issue.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, I feel like if there's 97 billion builds, there has to be some counter to whatever this cookie cutter build is that everybody's using. Well, like if somebody's using some kind of whirlwind barbarian, you know, team build, whatever, then there has to be some kind of counter to it. There has to be. Right. Like with that many potential builds, there has to be. Maybe people haven't found it yet, but again, it's just that people haven't found it yet.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that I want to make mention of too. You know, because I know you're mentioning gear and these builds and stuff. That's something that actually even like, especially gear, that has to be restricted in professional, we'll call it professional environments, competitive PvP environments. That has to be restricted. It is in WoW. When they do WoW tournaments, there's a set gear set that the characters have. You know what I mean? You have like this season's arena gear or whatever, and that's it. You're not sitting with crazy damage dealing two-handers from some sort of raid instance. And I know people hate referencing WoW, but this is like the WoW arena is the closest thing that we have to what D3 arena is going to be. You know, gear is vital. Character builds are important as well. That's basically what we have to pull from, because D2 dueling is nothing like this D3 arena system is going to be. It's much further away than comparison to WoW. But the point is that gear and build are a vital part of success in this game, and they're going to have to limit gear like they do in WoW tournaments. Otherwise, there'll be issues, because I'll tell you up front, there are certain gear pieces in RPGs that if you have like the best two-handed weapon, you are two-shotting everybody. There are such stark differences in high-end and low-end gear in almost every RPG that you'll start to run into major issues. So that's why I'm assuming that there's going to be some sort of gear balance system. If we do see competitive play,
they could even just say, "Hey, you have to play naked." I mean, not you. Our characters have to play naked.
Right.
So so that really just brings it all back to the runes and skill system. And that's it. So itemization doesn't even affect you there at all. Which, it definitely takes a layer of strategy out. Although, like you said, you might have the best item, in which case no amount of skill will win you the game anyway. But we still have, the whole builds still play a really important role there. Mm-hmm. And again, I feel like with that many potential builds, even if somebody does find some kind of cookie cutter build or, ridiculously up build, there has to be a counter. I refuse to believe that if somebody finds one, that there is not one other counter.
Oh, there certainly will be. There definitely will be, because like you said, there's so many with the runestone system and everything like that. There's so many different possibilities, especially with the restriction too on the number of active skills you have. That drastically cuts back on things and makes it so that I agree. There are going to be speaking specifically on builds, that there are going to be some pretty hard counters. So
yeah, and not only that, but it's going to be a team game. What is it? 4 versus 4 is what we're looking at.
Yeah, currently.
So, there's got to be, although I guess you could run into the issue where there's one team of 4 Whirlwind Barbarians that's completely up, although at the same time, then you just have 4 casters or whatever that can just constantly stun and crowd control. Lots of crowd control. That'll take care of the problem. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're just throwing this out there. We don't actually know, what these builds look like, because we don't really have access to most of it. So we're kind of just throwing this out there, theory crafting, but at the same time, there's got to be some kind of counters. Obviously, who knows? Maybe there isn't. Maybe that is the one, the all-knowing, all-seeing, it's the god build. But I don't know.
Well, and if something like that happened, I'm sure that's something that they'd be forced to balance, just because there's so many complaints about it. So
right, exactly. Even if it's not competitive, why would that be fun? And that's what I was saying before. How can PvP be fun and relaxing if I'm always losing to one specific character? That's going to make me want to just go make that character, and even if I hate it. Why would I play a Witch Doctor just because that's what wins games?
Yeah.
Although at the same time, that would be me making it competitive. But then again, how is losing fun? I guess I don't really get that. I've been playing StarCraft 2 with my brothers lately, and we just keep losing and losing, because we're doing 3s, and I can't carry 3s. Maybe 2s I could probably carry, but with 3, I'm Masters and Diamond, and we're ranked in Silver, and we keep losing.
Mm.
One of my brothers, he's decent, but the other one is not that great. So no amount of skill can win the game. There's just too much crap on the enemy team. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's true. That's definitely true. It's going to be interesting, and we'll have to see what happens. I'm not holding my breath, though. Even with what WoW had in MLG, besides that, there's no other RPG that's really kind of made any kind of showing. And I just think, just in general, the design of RPGs, it's difficult to put it at a very competitive level, just because there's so many variables, and balance is always, because even in WoW, with what they had at MLG, there were lots of balance complaints, and that in my mind pulls away from the talent pool, because like I said, if you're losing games because of balance issues as opposed to losing because of skill, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails, and it makes you not want to do this for a living.
Sure.
It makes you want to go do something else that is based purely off of skill. That's why shooters are so good as a esport, because everyone's the same. It's just based off who's better. And that is kind of the bar for skill. When all else is equal, who wins? Who's got the higher skill? That's the person who's likely to come out on top and win. And that's hard to actually do in a game that has so many variables and so many differences between various characters. You know what I mean? That's where the team comes in to try to even things out.
Right.
That's kind of like a little bit of an equalizer, but still, even with that, it's difficult. As much as I'd love it, I know it's difficult, and I know it's a long road ahead of us if we're ever going to see any real competition and competitive esports style of play in a game like Diablo. So we'll see, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't want to pass out.
That's kind of funny. I never heard that before.
So, yeah, there you go. That's going to do it for the bulk of our conversation. We're actually going to run over and get a couple of questions. Looks like I do have a few questions over here on Facebook to get answered. So we'll see if we can get some of those finished. But, yeah, actually, and let's do this, too. But for a question today for this DiabloCast, I'd like to know from you guys, would you like Diablo 3 to be a PvP? Do you want it to just stay the way that it is? Do you think it's got even a chance at ever being a competitive PvP style of game, or should we all just be PvE nerds? Let me know what you think. Some people get angry when I say PvE. They say, you should say PvM. It's pretty much the same thing. Don't get your panties in a bundle. It's really not a big deal. Okay, great. Good, great, grand. Let's take a look here. First question on the Facebook page coming from Tyler regarding dies, specifically Collector's Edition. What happens if you die an armor piece and then trade it? Will it keep the die or no? That is interesting.
I
assume that it does. I assume that it does.
Keep the die.
Yeah.
Because, unless they're implementing something that allows you to undie something, and from what I know about the Mystic and the Jeweler, neither of them have anything to do with dies. They're gems and then, jewelry and whatnot. And enhancing, sorry. I would assume it does, right? Because what if I'm trading for this item because it looks cool?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine the die just disappears, and that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyways.
Because we don't get the die back. It's one use and then it's gone.
Well, except the Collector's Edition dies.
Right, except for the Collector's Edition ones. Although, at that point, what if I just die everything and just give them away? Then everybody who doesn't have a Collector's Edition now has access to the Collector's Edition dies. Potential problem right there.
Yeah, who knows?
It's a great question.
Wish we had an answer. We really don't know. I'm assuming that the die is going to stay, though, if I had to make an educated guess.
Yeah.
Okay, next question from Michael. Hey, rumors say Diablo 3 opening cinematic will be showed at Spike TV. Correct. But on a 1 to 10 scale, what do you think the chance of a release date at that time is?
0?
Yeah,
Zero
I just don't. I know people want it, and I don't think there's going to be some big grandiose event for the announcement of the release date, though. I think it might just be announced one day.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
I don't know that they necessarily feel like they have to hold it in an event. No matter where it's told, it's going to be big news. It's not like they need, it's not like they need the Spike TV Video Game Awards viewership to be able to pump up and spread the word that Diablo 3 release date was announced. I'm pretty sure every major fan site and YouTube page will explode with that announcement. So,
right, yeah. I almost feel like doing it at the VGA Awards would get less of an attraction, like a viewer base, because people who are watching the VGA aren't going.
They're not
just
necessarily.
Diablo.
Yeah, they're not necessarily like huge Diablo fans. So yes, we know that the opening cinematic of the game will be shown on Spike TV at the Video Game Awards this December 10th. But I can't imagine that there's going to be a release date announced. Don't really think it's going to happen. Okay, one more question here from Aaron. Let's see. It's been said the arenas will be a 4v4 deathmatch, but will it be available 3v3 or 2v2 as well? Also, do you think the ladder system for PvP could be implemented in the future if the community asks for it? Again, this kind of goes back to what we talked about. I actually don't know if they're going to do 3v3 or 2v2. Last we heard at BlizzCon, they said PvP is now 4v4.
Yeah.
So it used to be 3v3, it's now 4v4. And they didn't talk about, and you have the option of 3v3 and 2v2.
Yeah, previously we were told, or I don't even know if we speculated or we were told or something, but we all kind of had the belief that there was going to be a custom game system for Diablo 3 where we'd be able to play whatever we want, 1v well, the max at the time was 6 total, so 3v3. But at the same time, maybe 2v4, 1v5, free for all. I mean, I would like to say that there are going to be modes, but like Dennis said, they've almost implied that it's just going to be 4v4.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. I don't see them only because, I mean, what if it's just me and my friend and we just want a 2v2? Why would I be forced to play with two people that I don't know?
Well, I mean, this is I think that's also going to go back to the notion that they're trying to gear this towards casual. It's not meant to be super intense. So they say, you're playing with someone you don't know, but it's not a big deal because PvP's not that important.
Yeah, but I almost have a problem with that. Like when I play Call of Duty, I get pissed when people go like 1-20 because I'm over here going 25-3, and I have somebody on my team that goes 1-20 and we lose because this person went 1-20. Like that pisses me off. I want to go and be like that kid makes me want to punch my children.
Well, I think the other thing too though is that like that your level of anger. I think your level of anger won't be as high when there's no point system and you're not actually you're affected that game, but there's no long-term effect for you.
You level up, and it's the same exact thing in Call of Duty. If you lose, you still get a little bit of points, but if you win, you get more points.
Right.
Diablo 3, if you lose, you get a little bit of points. If you win, you get more. So I mean, I could have potentially won if this person didn't suck. Like, I don't really, and I don't want to bash Blizzard. Like, I love Blizzard. I disagree with this. I mean, they're doing Team Deathmatch to stop people from wanting to play. But I mean, there's going to be voice chat.
Yeah, we don't want you to play our game.
I mean, yeah, that didn't come out right.
It's funny though. It kind of feels that way with some of these aspects.
Right. It's to keep people from being scared to play is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know. I almost feel like I'd rather die once than die 20 times. Die if I join a game and I'm a noob, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'd rather just die once and watch and say, oh, so that's how you do it, not go in there and just run around and go 1-20. And now I'm like, well, I'm terrible. Why would I keep playing this? Like, it still has the same exact repercussions, except the difference is that I'm not sitting here being pissed because this person died once. I'm pissed because this guy died 20 times. Like, all he had to do was stay in the back and just hide. Well, seriously, all you have to do is hide.
It's the it's like the goblin charge mentality. You just keep throwing something at it until you figure it out. So I think that's I mean, it helps for learning quicker, kinda. Maybe not though. I guess you could argue against that because you can say you'll keep making the same mistakes. You're not going to learn if there's no real consequence. But that's not true. I think you'll learn eventually. But anyways,
yeah, I guess Call of Duty. I mean, I used to go 1-20 when I first started.
Yeah,
and it was frustrating. But I mean, at the same time, I played with my friends, so like we would still win because my friends were good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if I lose and I consistently keep making teams lose because of me, that's really not going to be that encouraging for me to play this game.
Yeah, and again, though, it's not like this is not a focus of theirs. PvP, they're saying right now, the development team says it's not a big deal. You do this for fun. We want you PvEing and selling stuff in the auction house. That's what it is. It's okay though.
Yeah. And I actually just got an email, ironically, a couple minutes ago about with a good question. I actually liked the question. I kind of just skimmed through it because you and I were talking, but I'll go ahead and read that. It's from Damien. Hey Sixen, I've been a big fan of what you and Force have been doing for Diablo 3. Thank you. Okay, so he says, I just finished watching Force's video on the Real Money Auction House, and my question is this. If sales can be put into the Battle.net account without a transaction fee, what is to prevent me from saving up larger chunks of cash and buying a specific item from a friend at a high withdrawal price, or at a high price to withdraw that cash? I understand that auctions do not have listers' names, but it wouldn't be too difficult to find a specific item at a crazy high price and recognize that as your own posting. I guess I probably shouldn't read the rest of it. But anyway, yeah, he has a really good point. And for those of you that didn't really follow along, maybe I read too fast, whatever, I kind of paused in between because I realized I was reading kind of quick. He makes a really good point. What he's saying is, let's say I'm saving up for about a year. I've got $300 in my Battle.net account. My buddy is over here who found this really great item, or hell, he finds a terrible item, and he puts it up there for $300. Ironically, coincidentally, all the money I have in my Battle.net account. Mm-hmm. So now, yes, Blizzard says that auctions are completely anonymous. Okay, but if I see this one-handed short sword up there that's, a white piece of trash for $300, nobody's gonna buy that except me. I'm gonna give my best friend $300 off of my Battle.net account, he's gonna cash it out for me and hand it to me in person.
Yep, that'll work.
There's absolutely nothing stopping me. That beats trying to do the whole gold thing that you and I were talking about. I like this.
I mean,
obviously, I don't like this. It's terrible, but
I think it's definitely a simplistic way of doing it. As long as you have like a local friend who could just toss you off the money, it could even be taken one step easier. They don't have to withdraw it, and they could just transfer it to your PayPal account, and then you can withdraw it. That would work. So I guess if you have friends, you're all set, right? All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it here for this episode of DiabloCast. Happy to see you guys again, chat with you guys about Diablo. It's been a little while. It was a holiday weekend though. We have an excuse. I don't think anyone ever posts anything on holiday weekends. Food coma. I was actually asleep all weekend. No, I think that was Star Wars weekend. I was busy with Star Wars: The Old Republic. Did you see that game yet?
I didn't. I mean, I got into the beta. I just didn't even bother playing. I mean, I'm a terrible person, I guess. I don't know. For me, nothing is Diablo 3. Yeah. I mean, I can play Call of Duty because it's absolutely nothing like Diablo 3, but I don't know. Right. And everybody keeps telling me to get Skyrim, so maybe I'll give it a shot.
We all just are waiting for Diablo 3 passing time until it comes out. So
yeah.
All right, guys. As always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Force for Kevin. We'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys. And don't forget to let us know what you think about esports.
Tell us about esports down below. Ugh. I gotta go do more work.
Yeah, I gotta go do more nothing. Like, yeah, I mean, it sounds great, but I'm bored to tears, man. Like, I'm going insane just sitting here.
Go play Diablo 3 beta, right?
Yeah. I feel like that'll just waste time. Although that's what I need, a time waster.
They're gonna delete your characters tomorrow.
Yep, pretty much. It's all gonna be gone. I feel like they just wait until I max out everything to delete everything first. Like I max everything, like the artisan, I gear up all my characters, and then they're like, "Oh, Sixen's done. Let's get another wipe going."